Hello and welcome to Sports Taza. We're back with the second test preview. Today I have Rohan and Uday with me. Welcome to the stream, guys.
Hi, Raj. Thank you for having me once again. Pleasure as always.
Hi Adiraj, yeah, same here. Thank you for having me here.
So we were waiting for the fifth day of the first test to come, and the match never started. India was chasing 150, a little disappointed, but well, that is done. India is moving on to Lords to play the second test now. A few questions have come up, mostly in terms of the team news. We have seen injuries on both sides, and we will be covering mostly on what the teams will be for both the teams. Starting with that, Rohan, my first question to you would be on Team India. We have confirmed news that Shardul Thakur is set to miss out due to an hamstring injury. And most likely, we can see Ashwin or Ishant Sharma as the likely replacements. What are your thoughts on this?
First of all, Adiraj, honestly, I'm a big Ashwin supporter. With the fact that he has played the number of test matches and the match-winning performances that he has given over the years, not just in India, but off late abroad as well. So I was very surprised that he missed out in the first game itself. I was surprised to see Shardul Thakur's inclusion in the side, but he did perform, so no complaints. But now that he's injured and for sure to miss the second game, I would have gone with Ashwin, to be very honest, to play the two spinners combination. But I believe the news is that Ashwin did not train with Team India in the last session. So there are, of course, concerns over there. So one would have to say that Ishant would be playing at Lords. Then, of course, Ishant's historic performance at the same stadium in 2014 probably gives him that slight bit of edge. And we all know Virat Kohli is very comfortable to play with four seamers and one spinner all rounder in Jaddu. So I would say with the current circumstances, Ishant might give the green signal.
Definitely. I think Virat, after the first match, said that he's very okay with this 4-1 setup, where this is the template that India might be going forward with, and he's more comfortable with it. So most likely, I think we would see Ishant come back into the Indian side. Moving on to the England cricket team, Uday, my question to you would be, we have news that Stuart Broad has been ruled out of the series completely, and James Anderson is also likely to miss out the second test at least. What do you see England's position? This has definitely weakened their bowling. We have Mark Wood and Craig Overton as replacements, and they have also called Shakib Mahmood. What are your thoughts on this?
See, I think Broad will not be such a miss for England because the way he performed in the first innings, he wasn't that threatening to the Indian batters. But Anderson will be a huge miss considering the way he bowled. I think Wood will surely play, but depending on the pitch, because in Lords the hundred's been going on, so it's a used pitch. So you might see Jack Leach coming in along with Moeen Ali because they've called up Moeen Ali also. So they might have that in mind also. But if they play with four seamers and a spin bowling all rounder, so I think Moeen Ali will surely play instead of Lawrence, and they'll get Wood and Craig Overton as the two pacers to replace Anderson and Broad, unless and until it's a turning pitch. Then it's a rough pitch. Then I think Leach comes in.
Definitely. I think England's inclusion of Moeen Ali, and which we will come to in a few minutes, we'll see how Jack Leach comes into play. I think if it's a green top, England will still prefer going with the four fast bowlers and one spinner combination, which they now will have. But definitely, I think a big concern. I think, Rohan, what are your thoughts on the miss out of Stuart Broad and Anderson? I feel they are the two most experienced bowlers in the England side, and this definitely weakens their bowling setup without Jofra Archer and Chris Woakes already missing out.
Yes, Arad, certainly. I can say for sure that it reduces my interest in the test match. I was really looking forward to the summer, like I said in the last episode, seeing Wood and Anderson in what could possibly be the last full-fledged test series together at home, considering the Ashes this year is in Australia. So I was really looking forward to them bowling together in tandem. Big miss for England. Both of them, that is, had it just been one, the other one can take the mantle and, carry the team forward. Anderson definitely was in great form, great rhythm in the first test match. Will be a big miss, and Broad has always performed really well at Lords. England will miss them. With respect to the combination going into the second test match, I am slightly confused or baffled, with the Moeen Ali being called up and then Jack Leach also being in the consideration, because if you play Jack Leach and Moeen Ali both, then what's your batting order? I think your batting becomes a little too thin with Karan may be batting at 7 again, and Moeen Ali 8, and Leach at 9. So you only have two fast bowlers and Karan. So I'm not sure as to what the combination will be.
Definitely. I think coming to that question, Uday, on Moeen Ali's inclusion, he has been called back into the side. He's been called back from the 100, has been doing well in the 100 itself. And I think with the exclusion of Stokes, who was missing out on the series, and Chris Wokes, I think everyone was looking forward to probably seeing Moeen Ali earlier in the first game itself, but he was not called for the first game. What are your thoughts on Moeen Ali's inclusion, and where do you see him bat, or who do you see him replace?
So I think if he's been called up, he'll most likely be in the starting 11. Otherwise, they won't have really called him up from the 100, because considering the T20 World Cup also not too far off, so they need the match practice and everything. So I think he will be replacing Lawrence. That's the only change, only place I see him play. Otherwise, I don't see them taking a gamble of Moeen at 3 or something like that, because it's not a T20 where you can have someone bat out of position. It's a test match. So I think he'll replace Lawrence. That's the place I see him bat at. So I think the lower middle order would be somewhat like Butler, Ali, and Karan, depending on the situation, who comes out when. And then the four bowlers, maybe. Three
Definitely. I
bowlers.
think Moeen Ali's best performances as a batsman have come down when he bats at 7, at least in the test matches. He has a higher average when he bats at 7. So it's likely that he replaces Dan Lawrence in that position, where he comes and bats lower down the order, like I said there. Also, I think we have talked about in the first test as well, and that the England top order is a little bit of a concern for the English side, and we saw in the first innings they crumbled at 180 odd runs. Rohan, what are your thoughts on that top order? We have seen there are people like Haseeb Hameed who are there. Ollie Pope is available now. Do you see any changes made by the England side? Do we see maybe two slots opening up at the top of the order for England?
Raj, definitely their top order is struggling and has been struggling. There has been no consistency, with all the batsmen who come before Joe Root. But because it's a 5 test match series, I think they will continue with the same combination for at least another game. That is, we might see Rory Burns and Dom Silly back in the Lord's Test match. Had the 3 match series, then I think certainly we could have seen Haseeb Hameed making his way back to the Indian team, because he has been in good form, and along with Dom Sibley, he is somebody who can stay at the crease, consume deliveries, and maybe off the Indian bowling attack. But I think it's a 5 test match series, so I don't see any changes. Number 3 slot, to be very honest, I have Johnny Bairstow who can bat, because he has batted 3 in test matches. Ollie Pope, honestly, somebody who I think
I think Rohan is dropped off. We'll see some technical
Yeah.
difficulties. Or the
So
question
think-
I want to continue with you. Yeah, I would just want to
Yeah.
see. Do you see England making any changes in their top order?
So I don't see the openers changing, because Rory Burns had a off test match, last test match. Before that, he had 100 against the series that they had against New Zealand at home. So he scored 100 then. So I don't see England dropping Burns, but I think they might make a change at number 3 and get Ollie Pope there, or switch Bairstow at 3 and Ollie Pope at 5. So I think, yeah, because Crawley has been out of form for a while now, and he's not been performing. So I think they might give him a rest and get Pope in, because Ollie Pope is supposedly the next Joe Root or the next Ian Bell, as they call him in England. So I think he will get a chance.
Definitely. I think we can see that Bairstow is batting down the order at 5, which is where Ollie Pope normally bats. But I think how highly he's been regarded in the England setup, and we can definitely see him getting a chance at 3. And you never know, you might perform at 3 and you get someone who's more stable at that position. Definitely bats slightly better than Crawley, in my opinion, at least. In the end, Uday, my question to you would be, where do you see this test heading? India had performed really well in the first test. They were in a strong position to win the game. They batted well. They got those 20 wickets. With the exclusion of Shardul Thakur now, Ishant Sharma or Ashwin, whoever joins the squad, what do you think would be the prediction for the second game?
See, I think India is a stronger team on paper, at least compared to England. I think the factor will be Moeen Ali, because he's always performed well against India, be it in India, be it in England. So I think he'll be a major factor, and also how the Indian middle order bats. Because if you see the last test match, or if you see the previous series also, for about a year and a half now, the Indian middle order, that is Pujara, Kohli, and Rahane, have not been that consistent. So, and still India has been able to be in good positions in spite of them not being batting so well. So if one of them also performs well, I think India will surely win this match because India has the bowlers to take 20 wickets. So that is not an issue now.
Definitely. I think the 3-4-5 is where the most experience is there in the Indian setup. And India will look for them, towards them to, come out and perform in the way they have done in the past for the team. Thank you, Uday. Thank you for joining us today. And thank you to Rohan as well for joining us. We will be back with more content on this test series. Thanks for watching Sports Taza. And for more such content, please keep watching and subscribing and please subscribe to the channel. Thank you.